Don't accept anything anybody says without putting it to test.
The difference between a thief and a priest or a banker is not in the genes. It's in the environment that they grow up in. And sometimes people say, well, I know two children from the same environment, and one turned out to be a monster and a thief, and the other like a priest or a very kind person. Well, people don't know it, that parents aren't raised to, parents don't learn how to raise children. It takes many years to go to school to learn how to work on a jet engine, but they let anyone work on children and raise children without going to school at all. It's frightening. So sometimes, as I mentioned, people think that it's in the genes because they're raised in the same family, and they say it's the same environment. But for instance, if parents favor one child and say, why don't you be like your sister? She picks up everything and she does all her homework and she does what we tell her. If she falls down the stairs, her little brother is going to be extremely happy and has a little grin on his face when she falls down the stairs. He's not mad. He's not evil. He just feels he's been mistreated. So even raised in the same family, it's never really the same environment.
And if you have difficulty with that, if you take any American baby or Greek baby as a baby and raise him in the Amazon jungle, he becomes a headhunter. If he never sees anything else. That's why I say there's no good or bad people. They're shaped by culture. If you don't know that, if you were raised in France, you'd speak with your hand. If you're raised in Italy, you say, come on, they eat, there's a good food. And that dialect, that everything is picked up, facial expressions, mannerisms. And if you take a normal young boy and bring him up with 6 effeminate women, very effeminate, women move differently than men. Say, did I see a gorgeous hat? See, facial hand movement. If that kid sees only that, he will speak and think just like a woman. It's not in the genes. They say, well, we're looking for the Republican gene in America. They talk that way. We're looking for the gay gene. There's no gay gene. There's an environment that shapes behavior and values.
That the monetary system itself causes the aberrant behavior and the problems that we have today. A lot of activists today are complaining about the system, but they don't pose a workable alternative. That's the difference between the Venus Project and other people who are beginning to state now that there are problems in the society, but they don't say how to eliminate those and what type of society can you have. They don't look at it that way. So the Venus Project advocates a different type of system. We look at what causes the problems and then devise a system so that we can bypass those problems. And we call that a resource-based economy, where all the Earth's resources are held as the common heritage of all the Earth's people. We feel no other way will solve the problems that we have today. And that means that we make goods and services available to everyone without money, barter, credit, servitude, taxation of any kind. And we can do that today with our technology. We've never put scientists on how do you devise a society without booms and busts, eliminating aberrant behavior with clean sources of energy and transportation, and that's how the Venus Project looks at it. It really becomes a technical problem because politicians do not serve us and they don't take care of the problems. They perpetuate them.
The collapse makes people aware that there's technical incompetence in government. When they lose their homes, their jobs, then they start looking around. If they don't care, they don't change. People are changed by the march of events or biosocial pressures. For example, what might unite the world fast in 2 days is if a meteor were coming toward the earth. All nations would stop building armies and share ideas with one another. But only an international threat can bring the world together. So minor collapses of employment, loss of industry, Chevy failing because Toyota can turn out cars faster, Only those conditions make people think about, hey, what's wrong? I don't even think people in peacetime have ever changed to a new way. I think it comes from the outside pressures, failures. That's what makes people move. It seems that social change always occurs under adverse conditions. I've never known any society that would anticipate the future and say, this is where we're going. They tend to freeze things because it was once successful for the control group, and they keep everything within that. They manage news. All news on the major broadcasting is managed news, making sure that you're manipulable and make you patriotic, I'd rather see people pledge allegiance to the earth than everyone on it.
Even your movies, all the movies on the future are manipulated to support this system. They make you afraid of globalized government or overall planning. The movies today are really an extrapolation of the free enterprise system into the future, controlling people, technology, destructive and running things, but that's not the way we see technology in the future. Technology would serve people. There's no advantage of taking advantage of anyone in a resource-based economy. They can't gain anything from it. They gain more with cooperation and making goods and services available. So technology, when a new machine comes in the marketplace, you lose your job, you lose your purchasing power, you can lose your house and your family and even your wife or your children because there's so much trouble and pressure. But in the future, when a new automated system comes in, that means people have more purchasing power, more goods and services are made with less labor, people have more time off.
I want to say this, that machines in the future will control farming, distribution of goods, availability, information, but do not control people. The machine government I talk about is not a takeover by machines, like a lot of engineers talk about it. The reason machines won't take over is because they have no emotions. Machines don't say, I want to control people. That's a human attribute. Machines don't drop bombs on cities. People do. Machines don't pollute the ocean. People do. So if you have a computer and I smash it in the presence of 50 other computers, they don't say, we'll get you. If it isn't this week or next week, we'll get you. They don't care. And if you work your computer Saturday, Sunday, Monday, says, give me a day off, will you? Give me time to rest. They don't have those feelings. That's human. So when Hollywood makes movies on the future, the robots choke the designer. When they make movies on outer space, it's about cowboys and Indians in outer space. The people change too in the future, not just the machines. The space stations, they're the same kind of people we have today.